It's hurricane season every year from June to November, which is one of the reasons that PWC has a proactive and aggressive emergency response plan ready to implement when faced with a hurricane or other disasters. Our crews are always ready to swing into action when it's safe and work around the clock if necessary to restore service. But you don't have to take my word for it. We're out in the field today and we had the opportunity to ride along with one of our linemen to get the facts on emergency preparation.
A typical day coming in as a lineman, it's pretty simple once you get the hang of line work. Usually we'll come in, we'll get a work order from dispatch, and then we'll go out and we'll load up material, get everything we need to stock the trucks, keep extra material in case you run into something that you didn't think you would have. Once we get our material loaded up, the poles loaded up, we'll go out to the location or address that is on the work order, and we'll assess the job, look over safety hazards and hazards that can become death threatening, and then we'll finish the job and we'll do it all over again. We'll load up the next day and we'll keep booking it. Storm work is pretty much the same. We always keep our trucks loaded. We need extra cross arms, extra wires, sleeves, some of the simple things you need to keep on your truck when broke poles, wire down. So once we get our truck stocked, dispatcher usually contact us and give us a work location or address. From there, we'll let them know once we get to that location or address, and then we'll go assess the damage. Once we've assessed the damage and found out everything that's been tore up, we'll call dispatch and let them know, hey, this is what's going on out here, this is what we're going to need, and we'll have the power back on as soon as we get everything we need and get everything put back like it was. Some of the safety precautions we'll use during the storm work is, first and most important is watching out for each other, making sure everybody's got what they need. When we get to a job and we're assessing the damage, we'll need to cone out your truck and make sure the area is safe. Watch out for rocky areas, wet ditches, anything where you can fall. We'll assess that. Biggest thing is don't touch anything unless it's isolated from back feed, and especially grounded. Make sure everything's grounded and all sources of a back feed are isolated to begin work. Make sure you're wearing your PPE, your gloves. Without your gloves, walking through a right of way, tell them what you can get your hands on. Everything's bent up, out of whack, so having your gloves on and your glasses, when stuff starts breaking and falling and twisting, pinching your fingers is not too delightful. So on a typical day of work, you can go out and start work. When there's a storm, you need to sit back and let everything that's going to happen, let Mother Nature take its role and let the storm pass. Once the storm's passed, then you can start assessing damage. Typically in a storm, you're going to want to get your main feeder back on, which is the backbone of the line. Once you get your main feeder back on overhead, you'll start getting your tap lines that go split off and feed people's houses, businesses, and that's usually overhead lines. Once all the overhead lines are assessed and corrected, all the damage is up, then you can start, going through and heating your underground back up. Typically in a storm, the only thing as far as underground that can get messed up is just stuff flying into overhead or underground transformers and things being hit as far as underground. But once you get your overhead completed, you can go through and start heating up your underground. So typically underground will take the longest time to get back on. But there will be less damage on underground. Overhead, obviously the wind and rain and Mother Nature is going to get to it first, so that's what you're going to fix first. From the previous storm, the thing that I learned the most was to just not panic. A lot of times when you got young help or unexperienced help, they start to panic, and everybody goes everywhere, don't know which way to go. It's better to just slow down, take a deep breath, and assess the damage. Once the damage is assessed, then you can start isolating, grounding. Once it's grounded, then you can start your work, and start completing. Getting in a hurry, all it's going to do is confuse the younger, experienced help, and work ain't going to be as smooth. I mean, it's going to take longer for restoration. And the biggest thing I've learned is to, be safe. Don't rush into anything, because as soon as you turn an eye on your brother, stuff could go south. I mean, you never know. Regardless of a storm or everyday work, we stay ready. We keep our truck stocked. Safety is always on our mind. We broke poles, wire down, anything. We're always ready to move out and assess the damage and fix it and get power back on to our customers as quick as possible. That's just the everyday mindset, keeping the power on. Don't want a customer without power.